From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big early morning of Early Mornings LA with incredible great details about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 today. In this recording, we'll go over those monthly stimulus checks the Democrats are likely to give you more checks for. Then we cut to the deal. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people. The recon is a finality for purposes of price tag and deal making. $3.5 trillion of checks for you. Seniors, adults, everyone across the board. This is not children's checks. That was third stimulus. This is fourth stimulus. And I have all the incredible great news in this recording. Then we go over the vote. There will be a vote this next week. The Republicans represent. So does that mean there's going to be a second vote? It does if they're correct. I'll go over the vote, the bills, the dates, and the two Plan B options at issue that are being reported. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, which raises your benefits up if you're SSI, SSDI, and the big money that viewers continue to get, with a new viewer getting upwards of $17,000 of rent because of this channel. Congratulations to her and her family. It's a big early mornings broadcast. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering. Let's get to the deliciousness. Starting right here, right now, direct from Santa Monica on a big early mornings LA, starting this beautiful morning. Good morning, everybody. How are you doing? It's a beautiful early morning here in Santa Monica, California, and I hope you're having a great day. How's the weather? Saturday was just all over the place, and Friday was as well. I don't know what's going on with the weather here in Southern California. It's some days you wake up and it's just miserable, and then it's beautiful in just a few hours. It's sort of like South Florida weather, where you just every 2 hours it's changing. So hopefully it just sort of settles down and chooses a place. Hope the weather is good where you are. Jump in the live chat and tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. In this recording this morning, we have so much breaking news. We'll go over those monthly stimulus checks and why you're likely to get more months of checks from those Democrats. Then we go to the bills and the recon. Done and deal. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people. It's all incredible great news. I'll go over what some of those checks are. You're going to be very excited. And then we go to the bills, the votes, the dates, everything you need to know across the board about what's happening this week. A lot of details in the final 15 of the final 7 of this video. Then one viewer got upwards of $16,000 of rent over this weekend. Nisi got $23,000. I'll go over all their success stories as well. And then fifth stimulus just raises your benefits up this fall. It'll be covered additionally. And this is LALATE, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Live in the morning and taped in the afternoons. Coming up next is Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Overnight's crypto is going on right now, and this video will take you automatically there right after this is done. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers at YouTube record. Next stop, 1 million. Hit that subscribe button. Like the video. 3,000 likes. Every like helps, and consider becoming a member. Let's get to the breaking news starting this beautiful weekend morning, starting right now. House Bill, Senate proposal, both monthly stimulus checks, but suddenly the raging of Delta impacts everything. House bill, pandemic plus 1 year, monthly stimulus check. Well, let's come back to that in a second. That's a big game changer. House versus Senate monthly payout. House $1,000 after the first month, Senate monthly unknown. But word on the sun is this. Oh my goodness, word on the street is this. $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000. Deliciousness. $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. Deliciousness. But boy, let's go back to that big surprise, which was this. 4 weeks ago, we thought the pandemic may be over and the legislators will just give you 1 year of checks, which would be 12 checks, $13,000. And then 3 weeks ago, the mask mandate reverted in Los Angeles to voluntary. 2 weeks ago, the mask mandate reverted to mandatory. And then last week, the pandemic out of control. Delta ravaging in 50-something states right now, signaling we're not over with this pandemic. That would mean that the House would provide pandemic plus 1 year monthly stimulus checks, which would be more than 12 checks. The House bill would be more than $13,000. Compare that to this. I think you have an opinion. I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now and vote House or Senate. House or Senate. Tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. Boy, things changed quickly, and that was a quick change. Well, who gets his fourth stimulus check? Democrats represent you do. If you got a third stimulus check, you get a fourth. Single individual, $75,000 less. Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, $150,000 less. Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. And if you're a family of four, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Finally, if you're on benefits, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, double it. Family of four, quadruple it. The fourth stimulus check is not income. It's not taxable. Fourth stimulus check would not be a taxable event, so it's not income. The fourth stimulus check would be the same amount for everyone across the board. And the fourth stimulus check is not a waivable check. I should know better. But a week ago today, I was on the beach recording live for you, and a viewer said, "Hey, is that the Chuck behind you?" No joke. I turned, I said, "Hey, Chuck, what's going on? It's me, LALATE. How you doing?" Don't recognize me? It's because I'm wearing black. If I was wearing purple, you'd recognize me. Okay, just ignore me, Chuck. Rude check. Viewer said, "No, it's not a rude check, LA. It's just not a waivable check. I've seen your videos." I hate when my viewers run the punchline on me. So there you go. Fourth stimulus check lands in the month of July for the month of July. Those Democrats represent. And in the month of August for the month of August. But in the second part of this video, we'll go over the exciting great news as deal done. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people under fourth stimulus. This is not children's checks. These are seniors' checks. These are your checks. These are everyone's checks. Everyone's checks. Workers as well. I'll be going over some of those items, those checks, and it's all incredible great news. Third part of this video, we'll go over the vote, the bills, the dates. Everything's happening this next 7 days. Oh, the final 15 minutes of this video goes over the next 7 days, and you are going to be shocked. Plus 2 Plan Bs. Oh my goodness, what's going on? I have all the exciting great details, but first here's a preview of fifth stimulus coming up later in this video. Fifth stimulus raises your benefits up a lifetime and applies a new benchmark. But how high will my beneficiaries' benefits go? I'll go over all those details coming up later in this video. But first, let's get some money. Yes, you've been killing it. If you've gotten rent for this channel, post in the live chat right now. Utilities, post it. Snap, post it. Post your success stories right now because you are killing it. I was making videos saying $5,000 of rent I can get you from this videos, this channel. You're getting out $20,000. Nisa got $20,000 of rent, and yet in the last 48 hours, a new viewer tells me she got $17,000 for rent. Yes, that's the second highest reported number ever on this channel this month for rent. Utilities, viewers, I was telling viewers I can get you $300 a month, $300 for utilities. Viewers are now getting $3,000 for utilities. Whoa! And then finally, Snap. $5,000 to $6,000 for individuals for Snap. Viewers are now getting $12,000 to $18,000. John got $10,000 to $12,000. Louis got $18,000. Wow. Get a pen and paper ready because I'm going to go over all this big money. I'm going to show you how to get this money, whether it's rent, utilities, homeowners assistance, and homeowners mortgage assistance. That's what I do on this channel. And that's what we do as a family. We're not here to track a check. We're here to cash checks. In spring of last year, EIDL loan and EIDL grant checks were not going out. So there's no check to track. I stepped forward and got you $25 million of EIDL loan checks to cash. And then in fall of 2020, second stimulus checks were not coming. They just hadn't come out. They had not passed into law. They had not voted on it. So there was no check to track. But then I got you $250,000 of checks to cash. Viewers like Tyrone, family 4 out of Boston, got $15,000 from this channel at the time, paid all his rent throughout the holidays, and he was not alone. Got big sums of money. And we're doing that right now. You're doing this right now. The only difference is your numbers are even bigger. So get that pen and paper ready. Let's go over all the big details. You're going to reach out to different places with different eligibility. One may say no, reach out to the next to get that yes. The keywords viewers are telling me are critical to their approval, so understand these keywords. You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, your state hall, your state housing authority. Keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus or Mitch's wonderful fan club. Does that exist? I don't know. They don't know it, so don't confuse them. Have you seen it? No, I haven't seen it. So there you go. Congratulations to Tim and Linda who got this wonderful pot of money for rent. The next pot of money is Snap. If you got on rent, post in the live chat. If you got utilities, post in the live chat. Now on to Snap. Boy, John, congratulations. $10,000 to $12,000 for Snap. Louis, yes, $18,000 for Snap. Len Glenn got it for herself, her son, and her mom. Gail got it. What is Snap? It's money for food. You get it from Department of Agriculture. DOA eligibility is easier than a stimulus check. And it pays a lot, a fortune. A family of four out of Hawaii gets upwards of $16,000 a year. Whoa, why so much money? Because of two executive orders. One from Biden, one from Trump that raised everyone's benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it. And you are killing it. We're killing it. We're only 15 minutes of this video. What am I saying, 15? It's 10 minutes of this video. And we got $15,000 for rent for a family of four out of Boston, out of Hawaii. $5,000 at least for rent, unless it's Nisi or other viewers getting $18,000, $20,000. And we got more money for you right now, and it's the money coming back from your state. One viewer got this for $3,000, another got for $5,000. This is the refund check from your state's unemployment department due to computer error, ordered to be returned to you by the federal government. It's land by direct deposit when reach out to your respective state. Say, hey, state, where's that refund check due to overpayment of a computer error? And can you track it with a computer that actually works? And finally, your wonderful refund check for the taxes you paid on that unemployment benefits. Oh, this is wonderful. Margaret got it, Cod got it, Michael got it, and here we go. If you haven't gotten it, don't worry, because IRS has indicated there's more checks coming weekly with a new wave each week. The average amount for this wave this week was about $1,265. Yes. Direct deposit started July 14th, and those with paper check were July 16th. There'll be a new wave every week. Whoa, exciting. So it's a waivable check. If you're at the beach and you see the IRS, no, we're not going to do that. So there you go. Let's go over the details. Let's say you had $9,000 of total unemployment benefits. You paid $5,000 of taxes, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment benefits. Congratulations, you gave back $4,000. Where direct deposit otherwise in the mail. Now, if you're in the live chat and you haven't posted your success stories for rent, utilities, SNAP, or any of these other items, do it because you're helping other viewers. Three things happen from it with the wonderful helping one another. Is first, people see it and it inspires them to go get it. So if there's 1,000 people in the chat and 20 or 30 or 200 people post their success stories, suddenly other people understand they can go get the money. Number two, it is a inspiration for a person who got one item to get multiple items. Art Sullivan got 3 items from this channel. Nisi got several items. So if you got one, it inspires you to get 3 to get several other ones. Finally, updates us about the numbers. Suddenly, we see that Snap is paying $12,000 to $18,000, far more than just $5,000 to $6,000. And finally, if you want to track this IRS refund check, you can do an IRS search. It's called a transcript search. Go to irs.gov, set up a username and password, and go in there, and it'll reveal the tax return you filed and the taxes you paid. It'll also reveal stuff you never knew. It'll reveal stuff you didn't want to know. It'll reveal when Mitch was on Star Search and sung that lullaby in tribute to Chuck Schumer. Was his song selection Slave to You by Britney? And there we go. Can we top that? We can. As we go into the second part of your fourth stimulus package update starting right now, deal done. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people. No reason to worry, question, or think about whether you're getting a check from fourth stimulus. You're getting one. $3.5 trillion of checks. A lot of checks for a lot of people. And this is because the Democrats have agreed upon the price tag and agreed to pass it. Congratulations. Now, how did they get to the spot? Because the recon originally had roads and bridges in there. And with those roads and bridges in there, the recon was not passable. Once they took those roads and bridges out, it made the recon passable. They increased it a little bit more, and they got a price tag of 3.5. Done deal. All they have to do is call vote on the bill. And here you go. The confirmation comes from conservative publications. And like this one, it had an op-ed that confirmed my reporting, which says that the higher price tag was on the recon originally, the harder it was to pass. There you go, confirmation. But by allowing the Democrats to take out some of the spending and put it from the recon and put it into bipartisan roads and bridges, it made the overall price tag of the recon smaller, obviously. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon passable. Sorry, Mitch. Sorry to set you up. But yeah, I mean, he was set up, but he doesn't care because the Republicans allegedly love the bipartisan. They love it so much that it's calling for a vote this coming week. Yeah, stay to the final 15. Can we top that? Well, yeah, we can. Once they shrunk that recon, the progressives were able to put some more stuff in there and beef it up, and they got a price tag they want. A big, bold, beautiful one. 3.5 trillion. And Representative Elon Omar said, give us a recon legislation that goes as far as we want. You got it, Elon. Congratulations, 3.5. Richie Torres, Democrat of New York, said, I need a larger recon. You got it finally, 3.5 trillion. And the Progressive Caucus was meeting with the White House daily to ensure that recon was big enough. They got it, $3.5 trillion of checks. How did they do this? By protecting the recon, because the president has a lot of progressive priorities in there. In fact, everything that's in the recon is all progressive checks. Senator Brian Schatz, Democrat of Hawaii, says that the White House considers the progressive priorities in the recon his priorities. There you go. And Jalapal was also told to protect the recon. Well, how did we get to this spot? We got to the spot because recon became passable. Let me go over what the recon now is, what's happening with this recon this week, and let's start first with some terms. You hear me say two words on this channel. First, you hear me say recon, which refers to our money, and then you hear me refer to roads and bridges, which refers to the bipartisan. Easy breezy, just two words, recon and bipartisan. The problem is that broadcast media and the president sometimes use other terminology, so let me go over their terminology so you recognize which one they're referring to if they talk about it. Recon is also called reconciliation. It's also called the budget bill. And the price tag, 3.5 trillion. The authors or the people you would see quoted in the articles, like a Bernie Sanders. Bipartisan is the infrastructure, roads and bridges, $1.5 trillion price tag, smaller. People you see quoted in the article about that are like a Kristen Sinema, Mitt Romney, Ron Portman. All right, so what is a reconciliation? There are two reconciliations. There's a reconciliation substantive and a reconciliation procedural. I'm just going to do the substantive. The recon is written by Democrats for Democrats to pass by Democrats. Who writes it? The House subcommittees are the lead authors. Those House subcommittee members are the lead authors, but they bring in the Senate subcommittee members to also oversee their backs. And ultimately, what they do is that they delegate certain subject matters under the Constitution. Each subcommittee has a different subject matter. House Ways and Means, they got stimulus checks, they got unemployment benefits. When each of those subcommittees are done, and then they have, let's say, 10 pages from 10 subcommittees, they send it up to Chuck, and he puts a big, bold S on it. Not for Schumer, it's for Senate, and that is your recon bill. Now, here's what you need to know is that during the steps in which they're working on it in the subcommittee level, the subcommittee has no constitutional requirement to show you what they're doing. They don't have to show you what they're writing or not writing, taking in or taking out, voting for or voting out. Ultimately, it's important to understand or remember for later in this video when I come back to it, is that these subcommittees are not 100, 200, 500 people. It's just a few people. And that ultimately they're putting something together, but when 200 other people look at it, they modify stuff. So don't presume that these subcommittees are the finality of any of these provisions. All right, so what's important to understand is that the Democrats are treating this recon much like a pop singer treats her new pop album. She does not want you to hear all the songs on the album ahead of time, so she keeps them under wrap, may even not even tell you the names of the songs. And that is what the Democrats are doing, just for publicity purposes, really. So if the correct news is that we have not seen the recon, not bill yet. We have an emoji for it. We haven't seen it. The incorrect statement that a false narrative or a naysayer would say is, I haven't heard, no one has mentioned, I haven't looked at, I haven't seen. Well, guess what? It hasn't been written, it hasn't been debuted to the American people. Later in this video, I'll go over when it is debuted. That's not the finality either. We have an emoji for that as well. Not law yet. It can get modified, and some Democrats are representing, they're modifying it. But boy, can we top that? We can. As Jalapal wrote a Schumer letter saying Chuck called a vote, that letter was signed by 12 House Democrats, part of the 100-plus House Democrats, who had written the president a letter saying they're going to be putting monthly forced stimulus checks in the forced stimulus package. Whoa, 100 of them? That's a lot. Yeah, it is. Can we top that? Yes, when 7 members of the House Ways and Means Committee wrote the president a letter saying we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in the forced stimulus package. Is that the same House? Yeah, it is the same House subcommittee. They wrote the president saying they're doing monthly forced stimulus checks in the forced stimulus package. Wow. We got to keep them to their promise, Purple Power. Absolutely. And they also represent they're doing a fifth stimulus. That's coming up later in this video. Can we top that? We can, as Biden has done it. He got the global minimum corporate tax rate as finally a law. I know it's a tongue twister, and that's why it's great it's done. 5 weeks ago, the president went overseas and got a ceremonial signature on this matter. But the formal signature happened this week. Why is this big for fourth stimulus? Because this thing with the taxes is confusing and hard to say. And it's good that's out of the fourth stimulus because no one would understand it. No joke. The global minimum corporate tax rate is a tongue twister, and it's confusing to say. And now it's easier to write the fourth stimulus recon because that confusing thing is not in there. Easier to call the vote on the recon because that confusing thing is not in there. Easier to vote on the recon because that confusing thing is not in there. And easier to pass the fourth stimulus recon because that confusing thing ain't in there. There you go. Can we top that? We can. In the final half of this video, we'll be going over the 15 of the final 7. We'll be going over the final 15 of the final 7 days that you should anticipate next week. It's a big week. 2 bills, 2 votes, a lot of dates, a lot of moving processes and permutations, and also 2 backup plans. Oh boy. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, which raise your benefits up a lifetime. But is there something more wonderful than that? Yes, the volunteers. The volunteers will help you get that rent, utilities, internet, SNAP if you can't find it as well. Where do you find the volunteers? Open the description to this video. You'll see an emoji of a house. Next to it will say news.lalate.com/community. Click the link, it'll send you to the web page. On that web page, there's a picture of some kitty cats. Lower are the volunteers. They're separated from Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Reach out to them, and they'll help you get that big money. Here's a little bit about them. I'll be back in 60 seconds with you with the big, exciting details about that final 15 of the final 7 and a new programming announcement. Very exciting news coming up after the commercial break. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. The toast is toast and the butter is butter, and I'm here, you're here, and Early Mornings LA continues right now from Santa Monica, California, with big updates still about the final 15 of the final 7. Then there's stimulus as well. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Coming up after this video is Overnight's Crypto. Stay on this video, it'll take you automatically there. Then Mornings LA is back at 9 a.m., followed by noontime. And boy, so much exciting details about fifth stimulus because the president had promised this during the campaign trail, did not deliver it, then promised it again during the transition papers and did not deliver it. But now the caucuses of the Democrats have promised to take care of you and do it for you. This is the SSI reform of fifth stimulus. The exciting great news is that they're taking care of it. First, they'll raise your benefit limits up. They'll remove the asset limit, add an inflationary benchmark, remove the marriage penalty, and remove the income exclusion. This is fifth stimulus. It would go to legislation in September, vote around November, and then in your bank account thereafter, and the benchmark next year. So how does this work? First, your benefits will be raised up. Who's you? You. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, SSA, or multiple beneficiaries. Then they'll apply a new benchmark. That benchmark will likely be applied in December. That benchmark will be tied to inflation. And how high is inflation going? Jay Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, testified on Capitol Hill last week, the same as he did the month before, and said inflation will be transitory. It will spike temporarily in December. Yes, great news, because that's right when they apply your benchmark. Then inflation is going to come back down. Oh boy, this is exciting. So how does this work? And how high is the inflation rate going to go? First, they're going to step your benefits up one time, and then they'll apply the benchmark. And let's say the benchmark is 5% inflation, which is what I say it's going to be, and Wall Street agreed last week. Then your benefits will step up not just 5% next year, but 5% lifetime. Wow. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. Oh my goodness. Then they're going to remove the asset cap dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't stay on benefits and also have more than $3,000 in hand. Now you have room for a stimulus check, some Crayola crowns, some tacos. They're going to remove the income cap dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. It's going to go in your way and you'll be able to work. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to end. Love is going to win and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest. You'll no longer fear loss of benefits and no longer be penalized. Benefits will not be restored retroactively, however. And that is fifth stimulus. Now, if you're in the live chat and you notice the people who are with an emoji of a purple hawk and you're like, I want one of those. How do I get it? Click the link under the video where it says join here. By becoming a member, you're delivered daily from the community page on YouTube, from me to you, a breakdown of all this big money you can get that these purple hawks are getting. By becoming a purple hawk, you're delivered from me all the breakdowns of the big money under third stimulus. And there's a lot. It's all application based. When second stimulus is passed, some people say, oh, I'm going to track your $600 stimulus check for you. I said, no, I'm going to try to get you $6,000 because you're going to get your check. Why should I track it? I'm going to get you $6,000 to cash. Well, I got Tyrone $15,000 to cash. When third stimulus was passed, some people said, I'm going to track your $14 stimulus check. Well, I tracked it for viewers as well, but I also cashed them some checks. Not $1,400, not $14,000, $23,000 for Nisi, $18,000 for Louie, and that for Snap, and $17,000 for my IG viewer for rent just days ago. And when fourth stimulus passes, there will be $3.5 trillion of checks for me to get. And as a purple hawk, you know you want that money. It's first come, first serve. This is the biggest moolah you've ever seen. Bernie Sanders calls it historic. And I'll be right there to get you that money. And with that, let's go to the final 15 or the final 7 starting right now. In the final 15 minutes of this video, we'll go over the final critical last 7 days, potentially, to get this done. Not to say that the fourth stimulus is done in 7 days, but that they're likely to get it done in 7 days. Well, let's start with the recon. Done deal. Exciting, great news. $3.5 trillion deal. We're going to go over first the significance of the deal and then the price tag. First, the Democratic caucus senators have agreed to a price tag and have agreed to pass the recon. This is huge. Senator Tim Kaine says basically all you have to do is slide the prices in after that. Then the price tag, 3.5, it's a fortune. Bernie Sanders went to the meetings asking for $7 trillion. He got 3.5. Why was he celebratory? Because he said he basically got the same amount of money for the same programs just over less years. Notice that 3.5 is exactly half a 7. There you go. Well, $3.5 trillion of checks. Here's what you need to know. We're talking about fourth stimulus on this channel. We're not talking about third stimulus. Third stimulus is checks for children. Fourth stimulus is checks for everyone. And while we're not supposed to see some of the details, not all, I've gotten a copy of some of the alleged details of what's in the fourth stimulus recon, and they're delicious. Money for seniors, money for workers, a lot of money for a lot of different people. First, free school meals for all checks, tax break checks. Then, cheaper prescription medication checks, immigration reform checks, farming checks, election checks, internet checks. They're going to provide money to cities so that they can provide you free internet. And then clean energy checks. Finally, my workers and my seniors, here we go. Well, workers will get checks. Independent contractors, unions, collective bargaining checks. And then Medicare, seniors, your checks are coming. So money for seniors, money for Medicare expansion, money for eligibility age change, money for dental, checks, vision checks, and hearing care checks. Wow, that is incredible, great news. It was about, let's turn to the bipartisan. It was about a week ago where Mitt Romney said he thought that the vote on the bipartisan would happen last week. I said, I don't think it's happening last week when I heard that from Romney 2 weeks ago. I said, I think it's happening this coming week. And broadcast media confirmed the same reporting as me. Well, someone also said it's next week. Who is that someone? Ron Portman. Chuck Schumer had a very big victory this week because he called a vote on the bipartisan, not the bill, but to end discussion on them. The call to vote was to say, hey, can we just end discussion on the bipartisan after a certain number of days? I'm trying to put fire under your feet to get it done. It was not expected to pass. I said it was going to fail. It did fail. But what happened after that was all surprising great news. Chuck Schumer got delivered to him a letter by Ron Portman. Yeah, that Ron Portman. Signed by 11 Senate Republicans who said they are done with the bipartisan, they're ready to vote on it, and they're ready to pass it into law. Ooh, boy, yes. When? This week. Oh, my goodness. The Ron Portman letter basically says that the GOP members are ready to call for a vote this week, the bipartisan, and we're done. Yes, this is huge for us, for non-bipartisan, non-infrastructure purposes. Why? Because what's important to remember is that the recon arm bill has to be called for a vote before the bipartisan. So if the bipartisan is going for a vote this coming week, then the recon goes for a vote before it. Yes. Nancy Chuck all confirmed that the recon will go for a vote first before the bipartisan. So what's my opinion of the situation? Well, I have to weigh a Ron Portman versus a Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney says this next week. Ron Portman says this next week. Who would I put more weight in? A Mitt Romney, of course. I've detailed both guys over the last year on this channel, and Mitt Romney is always exact about price and time and place and quick on everything. So if he says a date, I'm going to stick with a Mitt Romney. He's done some great things at certain times, and he's also had some great bills as well. Ron Portman, on the other hand, I'm not going to stick with Ron Portman's statements. Ron Portman is the guy that in May of last year, when people were losing their homes, their businesses, and their cars due to the pandemic, he said, get back to work. You're lazy. I'm going to cut off your unemployment benefits. Yeah, that Ron Portman. So when weighing the two, I'll put Mitt Romney as the stronger weight, and his representation is going to go for a vote this coming week. Wow, great news. Now, is there a plan B? Two publications have surfaced with an alleged plan B from the Democrats. Both articles start the same way, saying that the Democrats notice an issue and they're trying to confront the issue. So the articles both start the same way, but then one article goes one direction, one article goes another direction. Why? One article is in a very, very conservative publication that's trash talks Biden every day. The other one's in a broadcast media publication, mainstream media. I'll go over what my opinion of the situation is after I show it to you. So they both start the following way. That over the last 10 to 15 years, the Democrats have waited for GOP to do things, and the GOP said, I'm almost done, I'm almost done, I'm almost done. And then the GOP intentionally runs out the clock, and the Democrats are left with nothing. So that is apparently an issue for the Democrats going into next week, that they don't want the GOP to run out the clock on them. Okay, that's how both articles start. So then the articles split and change. And let's go to the conservative publication, the one that's always negative comment about Biden. The conservative publication says the plan B set up by the Democrats to go into full effect if the GOP does not call the vote is the following. I can't even say it with a straight face. Roads and bridges are put back in the recon. What? Come on already. That's just ridiculous. I just don't buy this. The idea is that roads and bridges put back into the recon. I mean, we were just told just days ago that the recon would not pass because the roads and bridges were in there. It was too big. I did that hand gesture 9,000 times. Now it's not too big. I don't buy that. That article, I don't buy it. So then we go to the other article. When confronted with the issue, what are the Democrats doing in the other article? Well, the article claims that Chuck Schumer, head of the Senate, had a meeting with his Senate Democrats and spoke to them about this sort of dragging of the feet by the bipartisan group, and even spoke to his most problematic Democrats. And the article claims that the Democrats came to an agreement during that meeting that they will call a vote on the recon ASAP if the GOP can't get the bipartisan done. Yes, yes. Now, this is a shocker because this is not what they were doing just a few weeks ago. Remember, the the Democrats just a few weeks ago were saying, I'm not going to vote on the recon if you don't get to the bipartisan. You have to get to them together, short in time. Don't leave the bipartisan to be taken care of in December and do the recon in July. Well, apparently, the even most marginal of Democratic senators are really at their wits' end with the bipartisan bill not getting done. They're not happy. And they basically, according to this article, say, I put my efforts in to get this done and I'm tired of waiting. So, Chuck, I bless you to call the vote on the recon and I'll vote in favor of it. Wow. Now, this is wonderful. Great news. Boy. All right, let's go to the voting process and let's go to the bill. First, let's go to the voting process. I saw enough comments in the last 48 hours where people said, what day is the vote and what day is the bill and what day am I getting my check? Remember, this is a government that is a democracy. In a dictatorship, there's one vote and a check goes out. Or maybe not even a vote, because it's a dictatorship. In a democracy, you have the House and you have the Senate. Those are two different bodies of the federal government. They have to do their own individual things. Moreover, the bills have been in subcommittees. There's now the opportunity for members not in the subcommittees to make changes. That's what they allowed under the Constitution. So how does this start? Well, we got multiple steps for each bill. Just for the recon substantive bill, it has to go subcommittee, Senate, then Senate floor, then House, then allegedly back to the Senate for a 2-day vote-a-rama. That is my understanding, that the vote-a-rama is still in place. And that of that entire process that I just described, the vote-a-rama is required to be 2 days. The other steps don't have to have 2 days or even 1 day to them. They can just be rushed in and rushed out. So those steps have to be done. Next, the bill. It's important to understand that the bill is still in flux. We have an emoji, not law yet. First, we have the emoji, not bill yet. Then once we have the bill, not law yet. What's the purpose of that emoji? The purpose was that emoji initially was because some people saw a bill and thought they're getting exactly like that. I still have people to this day that talk about some of Nancy Pelosi's bills from last year or Mitt Romney's bills. Hey, if it didn't get to a vote, you didn't get it. I mean, there's no way to say it. If Nancy didn't get to a vote, it didn't get enough votes, she didn't get it. Well, here's what's at issue. Is when you see that reconciliation bill land finally with that big S in the Senate, it ain't done then yet. You may see something not in there. You may see something in there. You may see something for the wrong amount or the wrong duration or something across the board. They can still modify. The House has specifically said they're modifying. They said we're not cheap dates on Friday, meaning we're going to modify what we get from the Senate. And we have senators who have not had the opportunity to modify anything because they're not writing it up. So I fully expect you to see changes on the House side, then the Senate side, then the House side, and back to the vote-a-rama, more changes as well there. With that, what's the takeaway? Number one, $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to you under the fourth stimulus package. Number two, the recon, by all extensive reporting currently, is indicating that the recon can go to vote before and without the infrastructure, a major break of policy among the Democrats, that they will no longer hold up the recon for the bipartisan. Number three, the Republicans assert that the bipartisan will be ready for a vote this week by bill, but if that's the case, Chuck has to get the recon ready for a vote first, because remember, the recon goes for a vote first. Finally, remember, when we're looking at the bill can get modified. And when we're looking at the vote, it's not one vote in 1 day. There's multiple branches of Congress that have to go back and forth, House of Senate, House of Senate. They can make modifications. And when they're done making those modifications, then we're done. And with that, I look forward to seeing you on a big Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. After this video is Overnight's Crypto, so stay on that as well. Finally, I appreciate all your positive comments as well. Programming note. Based upon your incredible reaction and response to our new 1 p.m. Afternoons LALATE throwback show, we're going to make that a regular time slot show. And starting the month of August, we're expanding our coverage. Based upon the success of that 1 p.m. Afternoons LALATE show, we're now going to have shows every hour or every 2 hours on the hour on this channel. So you'll be able to go no less than 2 hours with a new show or at least a replay show of your favorite topics on this channel. humor in the evenings as well, as Sirloin returns back from the Olympic Games, or the Moolympics, to deliver his latest updates with new shows coming in August. Also coming in August is stock coverage, as this channel expands its programming schedule as well. And with that, I encourage you to become a subscriber today to become part of the fastest growing channel. Subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record in 1 year, and next stop 1 million. I want you part of this channel. Hit that subscribe button. Like the video. 3,000 likes. Every like helps. And consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP, so you learn about all the big money that's available for you under this wonderful third stimulus. Stay informed, stay focused, stay with me all week long, because trust me, it's going to be a big week of a lot of permutations. I'll see you next on Mornings LA live on air at 9 a.m. Stay on this channel, right on this video. This video will automatically take you to Overnight's Crypto. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA.